Happy Wednesday, everyone. Thank you guys for joining. Happy Wednesday, guys. How are you doing? How is everyone? Thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you. Let's like the life, guys. Let's like the life. Thank you guys for joining. Today we are looking at the element of global peace. You know, this is an ideology where we are promoting harmony and cooperation between different nations and all people on earth. And this is where we are promoting the absence of violence, conflict, and even fear. Let's like the life, guys. Let's like the life. So today we are having a very simple topic. Are we losing global love and peace for instability? Are we losing global peace and love for instability? Let me know, guys, what you think about that. And we are also having a quiz, or what we call a poll. Which strategy do you believe work best to restore global peace? Is it doing what we call disarmament? Is it about promoting? Is it about promoting peace culture? Is it about empowering women, or is it about promoting human lives? Let me know your choice. Let me know your choice. When we don't have peace, global peace, a lot of things go wrong. So when we don't have this, we have a lot of things. We have a lot of things. Yeah, when we don't have peace, we experience a lot of challenges. Uh, Global peace is very important and very instrumental, because without it, there is a lot of hunger. And when nation now start facing hunger, there is a lot on tearing up of, you know, there is a lot of tearing on families. There is also what we call the increased destruction of infrastructure. The food systems are also disrupted, because at the end of the day, even if you are a farmer, you cannot go to the farm to do anything, because you are going to be disrupted. And we also have the increased refugees, because the buildings are being disrupted each and every day, through missiles, through bombs, through night attacks. And so the easiest way for people is just to move out of their houses, to move to a place where they believe that it's even more safer. And when people now start moving out of their houses, at the end of the day, they leave ghost cities, ghost communities, ghost towns. And all these ghost towns and cities all emerge as a result of global instability. And we also have what we call the climatic disasters. I remember there was this form of a fight in Japan. This was in World War II. Or even before I go to World War II, there was this World War One, or what we call the Great War. And this Great War really led to disruption of infrastructure, especially Germany's infrastructure, because Germany was one of the key nations that was really pushing up for global war. And in terms of increased climatic disaster, during the World War One, this is where most of the discoveries were being done, because they really wanted to turn this fight, and they really wanted to fight the fight. They really wanted to do the war very fast, so that the war could have ended very fast, and Germany would have won, as they really thought. And in the process, more innovations was done. And if you read a little bit of history, linked with World War One, you're going to realize that Germany really used to fight what we call the trench war. And the trench war, this is where Germany would create a trench. You know what is a trench? Yeah, they would create a trench. They would hide in the trench, and now when the enemy would come, they would attack from the trench. That was the essence of the trench war. And remember, during those days, Germany was really fighting very powerful nations, such as Russia, the Great Britain, before even the other allies, such as the United States, entered into the war. And in the process of fighting fighting the trench war, a lot of young soldiers were being put into the system for them to fight for Germany. However, it reached a point where now some innovations, because the war is not ending, Germany was hoping very soon it would maybe beat the rival nations, and after beating up them and after defeating up the rival nations, then Germany would have gone back and maybe achieved some of its agenda, because one of the key agenda of Germany was all about expansion of its territory. Remember, during those days, it is where now Germany really believed that it was one of the superpowers, and in the process, it really focused on ensuring that it really expanded its boundaries so that it could have, in the process of the war, it could have, acquired some other nations or some other new territories. So in the process, Germany was very, very determined. So they fought and fought through the trench. That's what about 2 years, and Germany realized that the war was not coming to an end, and therefore the only strategy that was remaining for Germany for them to win the war was all about doing some of the key innovations, and one of the key innovation that Germany really came up with was all about the innovation of what we call the chemical weapons. Germany really focused on invention of the chemical weapon, because it really believed that when it has some chemicals, then it will be easier for it to fight the rival nations. So in the process, chemical weapons were generated or were innovated during the World War One, and instead of killing the rival nations, they also realized that the chemicals were really controlled by the weed. When they would realize maybe very large amount of weed or very strong weeds, even the German soldiers would also die in the process. And therefore, this one now caused what we call the climatic disaster, and Germany really had now to come to a consensus that there was need to use less of the chemical war or the chemical weapons to fight now the enemies. And therefore, the only now strategy that was really remaining, it was all about increasing more soldiers, innovating more gunpowders, so that they could fight up to the end of the war. That was the strategy, and in the process, they realized that these chemical wars were very, very destructive in nature, because it never spared. It not only affected those that were really in the front line, but it also affected even those that were not engaged in the war. And therefore, anytime now we are having what we call the global instability, and maybe the nations now threaten or they use what we call the chemical weapons, at the end of the day, what really happens is all about the change of the climate, and it always have what we call the long-term impact or the long-term effects. And one of the key impact of the chemical weapons is all about creating what we call the global warming impact or the global warming effect. This is where maybe the temperatures rises, and once now these chemicals now meet the layer that really protect us from the sunlight, from the sun, the strong sun rays reaching onto us, it really now depletes what we call the ozone layer. And once the ozone layer is depleted, now it becomes even more critical for the strong sunshine rays to reach where we are. And at the end of the day, now we start realizing a lot of diseases such as skin cancer, and so many other diseases. And therefore climatic disasters are always generated by what we call as global war. And then they also, global war also creates a lot of poverty, you know, because at the end of the day, we don't have jobs for the people. Everything is disrupted, you know, their hustles are all disrupted, you know. You cannot even go to your workplace because at the end of the day there is an attack, and besides an attack, even the client maybe that you serve, at the end of the day they are not even there. And therefore anytime now we have what we call the global instability, the dynamism of poverty tend to drive at a very very fast rate. And I remember this war that emerged during the Second World War, what we call the Nagasaki in Japan. They really focused on using the chemical war, and then at the end of the day the war emerged to be more having a lot of implication in terms of poverty, in terms of people being born with a lot of deformities here and there, and all because it was all about what we call the disorientation because of the chemical impact or the chemical effect. And therefore you cannot live out poverty when we don't have the global peace, because at the end of the day we create an enabling economic an enabling economic operation when we really have what we call peace. Because at the end of the day, when we have peace, businesses tend to thrive. When we have peace, each and every sector is working efficiently, mainly aimed to ensuring that the economy is moving to the next level. But when we keep now having some surges, sometimes we have peace, other times we have a lot of chaotic situations, then at the end of the day poverty increases, the level of poverty increases. And I can take this closely home because this is what we have this is what we really experienced in our nation when we really used to have what we used to call mandamanos. These are these are what we call the protests. So in most cases when we have the protests, you find even those that work within the city or within even the CBD, they cannot be able to reach, they cannot even be able to access the CBD. And in the process of not being accessing the CBD or their workplaces, you just find that most of those businesses are either rooted, and when we talk about routing, it's all about clearing your stock. Clearing your stock. Everything is just cleared, all your investment that you have made for years, all the toil and moil, that you have really worked for, it's all carried at one go. And therefore, anytime we focus on peace, be it at a national level, be it at a local level, and even be it at the family level, peace is always very, very important. And therefore, you can now see if in our places or if in our homes we are not even able to have peace, it's always a threatening situation. I have seen and I have had a lot of fatal cases, a lot of here and there, between nations, between couples, between couples at the family level. You just find that a lot of couples are killing each other, and it's all not because of something else, it's because of instability, especially when they don't have peace. And peace can be generated by a lot of factors, economic hardship it's one that can really generate what we call instability within a family, a lot of issues. And even the issue of finances, if finances are not really checked very well, it really becomes a threat to even the existence and to even the propelment or the existence of that marriage. And therefore, anytime we don't have peace, even at the family level, everything destabilizes. Kids that maybe probably were going to school, they even stop going to school because we don't have peace between parents. you know uh, Maybe you are working even in a certain workplace, you cannot even concentrate because at the end of the day you don't even have that peace. And anytime your mind is chaotic, wow, a lot of misfortunes tend to follow after. And therefore, having global peace or having peace even at the personal level, it is one of the best ways to ensure that maybe one is able to attain the economic goals, their social goals, and even their religion goals, their religious goals. And disruption of peace also comes with a lot of tearing up of everything. I have seen so far the fight between Israel and Gaza, because that is one of the key fights that is ongoing. And each and every time I just see what we call the airstrike, you know. And those airstrike, I really want to tell you, they are not, you can check them, they are not, they are very, very, very specific. If they target a certain building, wow, then within a fraction of time, the entire building is down. And you see now, at the end of the day, when buildings are being collapsed here and there, then it really creates what we call destruction of infrastructure, destruction of building, destruction of even life. Because in the contest, we lose a lot of life. For instance, today I was trying to lead some of the key conflict and how they have really impacted uh, societies, and I was seeing, for instance, Ukraine, over 6 million people. They really need what we call the humanitarian emergency, because at the end of the day, they don't have schools to go. The kids do not have schools to go. They have been destroyed. Hospitals are not even working because we don't even have the doctors. People's home and properties are already destroyed. So putting food on the table is a dream. It's something that really worked in reality, but now it's a dream. You know, Having a place that you call home, it also disappears because at the end of the day, you don't even have peace. You don't know when next, you can be attacked. You don't even know when everything might go wrong, and in the process, everything becomes so chaotic. I also saw that we really have climatic disaster and increased in poverty levels, especially to countries such as Haiti. You know, and I really read that about 4.97 million, this is about 5 million people, are really experiencing high poverty level, because most of them, as per United Nations, UNHCR, United Nations Human Rights Commission, it really stated that most of the about 5 million or about 4.97 million people cannot even afford to put meal on their table, and therefore they are all relying on what we call the foreign aid for them instrumental thing. And at the end of the day, they really, when we don't have global peace, a lot of hijackers, really tend to come through. And one of the key hijackers is all about, it's all about the young people, whom we really talked about yesterday, having nothing to do, having no jobs, having everything, having nothing. They really now tend to infiltrate the fight, and in the process now they form what we call the gun turf. You know, this is where now they control a certain area, all the activities, maybe some of the key businesses that really operate in that area. They really want to control them, and most of them can now, in the midst of the fight, they can now be able to access what we call the guns. And I was also seeing the case of Sahel. Sahel is all about the fight that sparked or that emerged in West Africa. This is where it affected nations such as nations that include Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. And as per the UNHCR report, over 4 million people are also displaced. And they are also facing the similar conditions or similar situations, conditions of hunger, tearing off of families. And therefore, when now we put the lens of having what we call the global peace, it is such, and therefore now leads us to our quiz today that really says, which strategy do you think fielding? Is it the culture of, is it promoting culture of peace? Is it empowering women? Is it what we call promoting human rights? Or is it even what we call disarmament? We really want to disarm so that people are not even able to access guns and other weapons that really propel or that are really being used to fight. And therefore, it's always good to realize that global peace is such an instrumental thing. I read an article, and this is one of the key culprit. This is one of the key. It's not a culprit, but one of the key, persons that have been affected by the fight that erupted in Syria. And she is a mother, and her statement is very, very clear. And what she says, let me just put it here so that you can also see it. Her statement is very, very specific and direct to the point. And the statement says, we are tired, tired, worn out, and not too hungry. Kimegal, how are you doing today? Hi too. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much, Kimegal, for joining. How are you doing today? How are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining. What are you doing today? That was the last question that you asked me yesterday. What about you? What are you doing today? How are you doing today? Hi, how are you? I'm fine, with a lot of love, Kimegal. I'm doing fine. I'm fine, doing fine. What about you? I'm really fine, doing good. Thank you guys for joining. Let's like the live, guys. Let's like the live. Let's like the live. Okay. Oh, I saw you liked my comment. Of course. I always read each and every comment, and I always like it. Yeah. Yeah, I always like each and every comment, that is made on my platform, because I always appreciate. You know, I always love each and every comment. And this is what now the statement that this Syrian woman really wrote, that we are tired, worn out, and now hungry too, as the economic situation takes its toll. She's called Hannah, a Syrian mother of four, and she continues, I have not been able to get any fresh food, dairy, or eggs for my kids for the last 4 months. Now that's the lead impact of war. So anytime that we don't have global peace, anytime that we have what we call instability, at the end of the day, even accessing food, it really becomes an issue. So we should all, yes, kabisa. Na ni mimi nasema ilikuwa imeenda wapi? Oh, hebu iwashe kwanza. Haina shida, sinarudi. Oh, ni sawa. Minute, then I come. Tuko sawa, tuko sawa. Thank you for staying. Stand by. Wow, it's very cold. Very cold. Very cold. Yeah, so let's go back. Yeah. So. Okay. So now some of the key strategies to handle what we call the global conflict or global fight. The first one is all about disarmament. This is where now maybe as a government you ensure that you have strict rules and regulations that would always ensure that weapons that are linked to fight are not accessible to the people that that can really cause what we call conflict. So the first strategy is all about reducing the availability of weapons, including small arm and light weapons, and that can significantly, reduce the risk of armed conflict. Thank you guys for joining. Let's like the live. Guys. The first strategy is all about disarmament. When you talk about disarmament, this is where you as a government or as an agency, a peace agency, you really want to reduce the availability of weapons. This is where you include small arm and light weapons as a way of reducing, the risk of armed conflict. So this is where, for instance, we have a very strict law in my country. This is Kenya, where maybe if, for instance, according to our constitution, having a gun is very much illegal. It's very much illegal, especially when you are a civilian. Thank you for voting. When you are a civilian, when you have a gun, according to our constitution of Kenya, you can't be jailed. Yeah. I really want to thank you for the like. Thank you for the like. Also, let's like the live. Yeah, so as a government or as an agency, you really want to ensure that individuals not accessing guns. It's always prohibited. For instance, I'm trying to check how many years you can be jailed for having a gun in Kenya. I think it should not be less than 20 years. So having, according to our law, well, according to our constitution, owning a gun. Thank you so much for the like. Thank you so much for the like. If you are a civilian and then probably you are caught up with a gun, now your things are going to be tough. Yeah. In fact, it is here. It says, based on Kenya Firearm Act and the Penal Code, the general punishment for possessing a firearm without a certificate is imprisonment of a term not less than 7 years or more than 15 years. So even in Kenya, having a gun, this is something that is very much illegal. If you are not licensed to have a gun, if you are not licensed to have a gun, you will be risking a jail term, not less than 7 years. Not less than 7 years, and depending on which type of a gun that you have had, you can be jailed up to 15 years. That's the law. That's the law. Very, very strict. And so this is a way of ensuring. There we go. This is a way of ensuring now we disarm. For instance, this law is very, very tough. Anytime now, maybe you are caught, by the police agencies or the law agencies, just for having a gun, then you are liable for a punishment loss. Thank you so much, guys, for joining, and thank you also for the like. So today, guys, is all about peace. It's all about global peace. If you read the thread, you're going to see you are all going to see that we are talking about global peace. And I was saying the first strategy is all about disarmament. This is where you want the government or the government agencies, or what we call the law agencies, really want to protect the public from maybe accessing some weapons that can really destabilize a nation. And one of the key strategy is through disarmament. And in Kenya, we have a very strict penal code, whereby maybe when you are caught in possession of a gun, without a license, kindly know that you'll be liable, for imprisonment of not less than 7 years, and depending on which type of a gun that you have, you can be jailed up to 15 years. And an expansion of it is this. They say you can also be jailed for life, especially when you have it, or even also depend with the magnitude of the gun that you have. If you have a gun such as AK-47, and maybe possession of such certain prohibited firearms such as AK-47, G3 or MP5 without a certificate, this one can even lead to life imprisonment. Very, very tricky. And there was a time I had an American friend who used to always tell me, for them having guns, it is not, they have a law that allows them, each and every person, to have a gun. And I think that should be the next topic that I should be asking tomorrow. Is it worth for each and every member of our society, to have their own gun? I think that one, it's another debatable topic, that we can look into, guys. But first of all, let us now see how we can be able to resolve this. So the first way is all about you make sure you know the entire public or the entire people do not are not able to access some of these uh, lethal weapons like the AK-47. I saw a guy somewhere in the northeastern Kenya. This is where we have a lot of what we call the cattle rustling. For anyone who lives in Kenya, they can really testify that each and every time we hear about the killing, the innocent killings and something of such. Peter, how many guns are there in the long hearts? The military courts should be expanded to deal with illegal possessions of guns, from criminal gangs to cattle rustlers and to gun traders. I agree. Yeah, I agree. We should have a very expansive, form of gun disarmament as a way of protecting our nation, because I was even also thinking about the cattle rustling, an issue that is very, very extensive, in the northeastern region. And I saw those young men and young boys, holding AK-47, those long guns. And those guys are very, very precise. You see, at the end of the day, I think discernment is one of the key things that is very, very critical in our society. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Because I agree that we are having a lot of we have a lot of illegal possession of guns. That one I agree. That one I agree. We really need to work on that culture. Yeah, the second strategy is all about promoting what we call the peace culture. You know? Yeah, when we say about promoting the peace culture, this is where now we really want to. There we go. In terms of promoting peace culture, this is where now we are saying that this is when diplomacy fails. When diplomacy is peacekeeping operation, when diplomacy fails, then peacekeeping operation can help maintain stability and protect civilians in conflict zones. I agree that peacekeeping operation is very, very, very important. Like here, we always have what we call, what do we call it? Nyumba Kumi initiative. I don't know if you guys really got what we call the Nyumba Kumi initiative. The operation for Nyumba Kumi initiative was very, very precise. It was all about understanding whom you are really living with in your neighborhood or within your area. Because there was a time that we really experienced a lot of attacks, and remember sometimes you'd just read from news or you just hear that maybe there was a bus somewhere within the CBD or maybe within the city that maybe was exploded using an explosive, you see. And therefore, as a way of ensuring now that we are keeping peace at all levels, we always became very, very vigilant, and we really became very, very vigilant in terms of ensuring that we really even understood whom our neighbors were. And I don't think I, I I think if Peter was here, he can really tell us. I don't know what really happened on the issue of when we would really enter into a matatu, and at the end of the day, you first of all you'll be frisked, to ensure that you don't have any weapon, and then you'll be allowed to enter into that matatu, and everyone now would travel safe. But nowadays things have really changed, because we no longer care about the peacekeeping operation or the peace in what we call a mission. But entirely, when we are talking about the global peace, peacekeeping mission or operation is very essential, because we are going to start at the family level. You ensure that your kid or your children do not have weapons. Then we move to the next level, the society. We understand who are we living with, our neighbors. We understand them, the type of businesses that they do, what they really do, such type of things. And now, even when we are moving at the national level, we are able to understand, this is a level, we are able to understand these categories for thieves, and we can even be able to report them to the police if it's even necessary. So at the end of the day, maintaining stability and protecting civilians in conflict war zone is also another key strategy that is being used to keep peace at the global level. The other issue is all about the other issue is all about empowering women. Why women? Yeah, someone might ask, why empower women? Because women, at the end of the day, women and kids, they always emerge to be the key victims, especially when we don't have what we call the global peace. Because at the end of the day, women are very vulnerable. When we don't have peace, women are always women are always raped. Aspect of rape really prevail. At the end of the day, women at the end of the day, they are killed with kids, because they remain to be more or less helpless. And the defense mechanism for kids is all about women. And now women, they are also defenseless, and therefore I also believe that if we are able to promote or to empower women, then it's very easy for us to have peace, because women women are very essential when it comes to peacekeeping mission, because women, they always understand they are the most vulnerable, and anytime we have instability, women, the highest probability, or the people that really serve us, they are always women and kids. And therefore, I always believe that it's very essential to engage women and to make them to be part and parcel of the peacekeeping mission. So involving women is also another crucial and a sustainable way of creating what we call the global peace. The other issue is all about promoting human rights. There we go. It's all about promoting human rights. This is where we really want to ensure that all individual rights, they are respected. They are respected, and this is where even justice can be done to ensure that all the atrocities that were done maybe to certain individuals, they are even able to be collected, as per the law. And therefore, ensuring respect for human rights and ensuring that we have accountability for past abuses and accessing justice is also another essential way of ensuring that we keep peace at the global space. Because at the end of the day, we must be able to respect humanity. We must be able to appreciate that if we respect humanity, then we are going to ensure that we protect lives. Because when you respect humanity, It's all about ensuring that lives are protected. It's all about ensuring that anything that degrades, the human dignity is eliminated. And therefore, peace building is also another key instrumental thing that can be used to ensure that global peace is kept. Therefore, guys, let me know your choice. Let me know your choice. Uh, and our topic is always very, very simple. Are we losing global love and peace for instability? And let me know your thoughts, as well as, guys, you can contribute by by giving us your poll on a very simple issue. Which strategy do you believe works best to restore global peace? Which strategy do you think works best to restore global peace? And discernment, I can see it's 0%. Then we are having promoting peace culture, which is 50%, and then empowering women, which is 0%, and promoting human rights, 50%. So, guys, let me know which one do you believe really can turn things around, and which you believe that if we keep on doing it, then things are going to be more better. So me, I believe all of them are very, very essential. But at the end of the day, we have priorities, and I believe that you know, as long as all of them are really looked at a very different lens, all of them can really resolve some of these issues that we are really facing. Because at the end of the day, we don't want each and every time to have a lot of quarrels. We don't want to really have a lot of quarrels. uh, we really want to live in peace and harmony. And I always say, the respect of human rights, it really starts at the family level, or even at the personal level. For instance, you just want, maybe you just walk, and then you just hear, maybe someone just talk the way they want, with a lot of abusive words, and maybe devaluing some kind of maybe gender. Now that now start with degrading the human rights, and at the end of the day, when now we start going in that route, it escalates even to the national levels, you know and I always feel very, very sad, especially when I see the national leaders. Instead of promoting human rights, they are the ones that they are violating the constitution, or they are the ones that they are really violating human rights, for their personal interest. You know, I have come to realize and to learn that when you talk about the issue of integrity, and when you talk about the issue of credibility, especially at the political arena, most of this global fight and the personal interest, most of these global fight that we really see, most of them have really, really emerged, from the political class. That's a fact. Because at the end of the day, the political class really want themselves to benefit, and they can use anything just to stabilize, to destabilize a nation, or even having or starting a tug of war with another nation, because they didn't have vested, what we call the vested interest. And therefore, the first thing that they really do, it's all about, ensuring that maybe they create some illegal groups, or some all what we call the militias. And in the protest, in the contest of creating the militias, they are able to arm them with a lot of weapons. And the moment now the militias are armed with a lot of weapons, now you can see, now that's where now the fight starts. Others also, instead of promoting peace each and every day through their utterances, through their actions, they always threaten peace and stability. Yeah? You just, even others, even through their actions, let's say for instance, maybe a nation is learning very well, but since a certain politician maybe has a vested interest in doing something, they just come with something that would really destabilize the peace of others, and in the process they ensure that they are able to benefit as they really loved. The other issue is all about this power is always about demeaning women. What I love about our constitution, it's all about valuing women and their position in leadership. You know, women are very very essential when it comes to the issue of leadership, because they really understand the impact of war and what war can do onto them. So at the end of the day, when they are making decisions, most decisions that are made by women, uh, the women that are sober, because not all of them that are really sober, most of them, they are always positive decisions that would really promote and foster peace in the long run. Others is all about promoting, demoting what we call the human rights. This is where maybe a certain government, maybe if it realizes that it is being critiqued, maybe by the human rights individuals. Others even go to an extent of killing them, in the name of ensuring that the human rights have no possession in the society. And therefore, all these aspects are instrumental to ensuring that peace and stability is maintained at the end of the day. And therefore, global peace is something that is very, very instrumental, and something that should always, and something that should always be valued, because if we value peace and stability, then it will become very very easy for us to embrace peace, and for us even to what can I say, for us to foster peace at the long range, and also even to ensure that even we are living well with our neighbors. We don't really want to have a nation whereby today we are good with our neighbors, tomorrow we are fighting with them, the other day, you know, that's a very, very bad scenario. We really want to have peace in such a way that even when our neighbors hear it's all about us, they can really feel that we are a peaceful maybe nation. But we don't really want to keep on messing up with their systems, trying to have language with them. No, that one is not something that is positive. Our positivity is all about keeping peace, because when we have peace, food sustainability is well attained. When we have peace, uh, instead of us being hungry, we are full. We are full and our stomachs are okay. And when we have peace, even our businesses are able to run. And therefore, global peace, guys, is something that is very, very variable, and something that is very, very instrumental in our modern society. In our modern society. Yes, we are losing a lot of global love and peace, but for us now to retrain it or to retain it, we really need to engage others. We really need to engage others in a positive manner to ensure that we are peaceful with them. So guys, that is it. Today it was all about peace, checking peace and how we can keep peace at the global space, which is such a very, very, very good thing, because when we are peaceful, then things tend to run very, very efficiently. But when we are not peaceful, then we are having a lot of hiccups here and there. So guys, I think that's come to the end of our life today. I really want to say thank you for everyone that have really joined, for everyone that really contributed, through their sentiment, through their view. It was all good, and I really want to say thank you. Uh, let's meet tomorrow, same place, same time, and thank you guys with a lot of love, contributing and always being part of my life is not just an easy thing, but it's always a very, very good thing. Let's keep on watching my other new videos, guys. And God willing, guys, thank you for voting. You know, uh, from your sentiment, I have seen the need to promote, to promote culture of peace, and I have also seen the need to promote human rights. Those ones were the most popular choices today. 50-50. Promoting peace, culture, and promoting human rights. So guys, thank you so much. Let's have a great time. Let's have a great night. Until tomorrow, guys, may God bless you.